everyone. Thanks for joining us today, and special thanks to David for giving up a bit of your time to share your story with us. So I recognise a few of the names who have signed up for the webinar. Hello and welcome. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Abby. I work in marketing and partnerships at Supermums, and we've got David on the line to have a chat with us today. For those of you that don't know, I actually did the course myself as well, so I can speak to a little bit of my experience there. And if anyone's got any questions about the course itself, we can also answer those towards the end. Do also let us know if you have any questions for David. As he said, David's going to keep an eye on the chat feature for us, and we'll answer any questions as they come in. But first of all, let's just get a brief intro from you, David, about who you are and what you're doing now.
Hi everyone, so I am a solutions consultant at Economic Change, which is my favourite title that I've had in my career, I think, even though it's a little bit private IE. Basically, it means that I work with charities and non-profits to understand what their needs are, how they need to use technology, how they need to use Salesforce, obviously specifically, and then turn that into a working, functioning system. So it's kind of a good, healthy mix of the technical skill side and project management and working with people. So yeah, I think I'm managing about 5 projects at the moment. Some of them I now have Supermums working with me on, and some of them I'm working with other colleagues at Economic Change on.
Brilliant, thanks David. And how many certifications have you got now? So obviously you've got your admin cert, thanks to the Supermums course, but what have you been doing since then?
Yeah, so I got my admin cert, and I think one of the real benefits of working for a consultancy is the learning curve and the opportunity to grow and pick up new skills. So I now have 4 Salesforce certs. So I've got non-profit cloud, community cloud, both of which are really useful kind of products and things that a lot of the clients I'm working with get a lot out of. And then I got my advanced admin as well, which I would definitely recommend. I found, having had a few months of actually working on projects and working on builds, that I was kind of ready for that, and it stretched me a little bit, but was really good. I've also done the Agile project management qualification, which again is really good. But that's all been driven by the sort of work that I'm doing, and Economic Change being a good employer and investing time and resource in people picking up new skills.
Oh, great. So you've kept learning, and I think that's the thing within Salesforce itself, really. If you get into Salesforce, it's a continual learning journey, and it's really important to kind of stay committed to that. So well done.
Thank you.
We're going to talk a little bit more in depth about kind of your role in some of the day-to-day, but I just wanted to start with talking about your journey and how you got to where you are today. So what was it, you haven't always worked in Salesforce, so what was it that made you to decide to retrain in Salesforce, and kind of what were you doing at that time that made you think it's time for a change?
So I was a user, so I worked for a charity, for a grant-making charity, and we had Salesforce as our CRM, and we're using it for some of our grant management and some of our contact management. It was not love at first sight for me with Salesforce. I begrudgingly kind of got and landed with being sort of the accidental admin. But I very quickly spotted that some of the reporting features and things like that would be really useful in my job. So I got a bit more enthusiastic and learned a bit more about it, and started to really appreciate that side of things and the amount of time it could save me. And then my partner got the opportunity to do a new job that would mean she was away from home a lot more. I was traveling a huge amount, so I realized we decided that together that I needed to probably find something a bit more flexible and a bit more family friendly. And I knew about Supermums because we had worked with a supermum on our project at the charity that I worked at. So I contacted Heather and asked whether you had any Superdads, and got started on the program. So it was a bit of a leap of faith. I knew that I needed to explore different, more remote options, but I kind of went into it testing the waters a little bit and really enjoyed the course, really enjoyed learning those new skills, and kind of just built on it from there, really.
That sounds really similar to myself, actually, and I think a few other people on the course that haven't necessarily come from technical backgrounds, but really like what Salesforce can do. Because I was in a similar position where the charity I was working at implemented it, and a Supermum came and did our implementation as part of their work experience project too. And then I thought, oh, what's this? Very similar to you. Ended up joining the course, and I got my admin cert in October. So thanks for sharing that. So you did the Supermums admin training. How did you find it? How did you get on with it?
So it really worked for me. I love Trailhead. I find Trailhead really works for me as well. But the thing that I liked about the Supermums course was, yes, it was flexible, so you could do it remotely. You could fit it in around family responsibilities, and at the time I was freelancing as well to kind of keep money coming in while I was training. But also having that kind of cohort of people who are all learning something at the same time, and swapping notes, doing some of the study sessions together. I found that really helpful. And then I definitely found, for doing the admin certification, having some hands-on experience really, really helped. Because some of the questions for all of the Salesforce certifications are a little bit tricksy in that they ask you questions that have quite a few plausible answers, and having actually worked on a project helps you think through and work out what the kind of the right answers are. So that mix of practical experience, a group of people learning at the same time from a similar starting point, and flexibility really, really worked for me.
I know a lot of Supermums and Superdads who come on our programme, and we've got some who are, I know we've got some here now who are on our programme and some who are looking to do the programme, and it is the ambition of a lot of people to do something like consultancy because of some of the flexibility it can offer. So how did you go from kind of admin to consultant? How did you get the role you're in now?
So I think the thing that really helped is I had a background in running charities and management within charities, and so I was able to look for a role within Salesforce or the Salesforce world that kind of built on those skills that I already had. So similarly, I guess a lot of people who maybe come from a marketing background might find it easy to get into a role that's focused more on Marketing Cloud or Pardot, or that uses those skills, because Salesforce applies to lots of different areas. So for me, I was thinking, what do I enjoy? Where have I already got skills that I could build on? And working with charities and nonprofits was definitely the area that I was interested in. And actually, I had started reaching out to the Supermums recruitment team and had started to get placements for interviews through them, which was great, especially because they didn't put me up for anything that I wasn't interested in. They were very good about matching opportunities to what I don't think. And I think I was just in the middle of interviewing for a couple of roles there when actually the team contacted me and said there's a role had come up at Economic Change, and having seen my CV, would I be interested in interviewing for that? So it was a good sort of happy coincidence, but I think built on thinking about how could I kind of make use of skills that I already had alongside the technical skills that I just picked up.
And I think that's a really important point. And I do a lot of talking to people who are thinking about doing the admin course and a consultancy course and all of the different courses, really. And a big thing we always say is, you know, this isn't necessarily retraining and taking a completely different direction. Almost no matter what your background, you're going to be able to build on the skills you've already had, because Salesforce is used across so many different industries. You know, you're just adding a skill set, and definitely what you've learned before in previous roles, you're going to bring some really great skills to that. So you don't necessarily always have to start kind of at the entry level and start again in Salesforce. You can really go in at a decent level if you've got a bit of, you know, if we can match that background. And our recruitment team are really good at that, like you said, having a chat with them. So yeah, thank you very much for sharing that. So so let's talk a little bit about being a consultant, because that's what I know a lot of people are interested in. So what's a kind of, if there is one, what is a typical day like, or maybe across a week? What kind of stuff are you doing, and where are you? You're obviously at home at the moment, but I look at
Yes.
it.
Yeah, so I would say, so I guess the first thing is that I'm fortunate that I've got an employer who really properly commits to flexible working. So we've got our team spread off across a lot of different locations, and flexible working patterns. So I work 4 days a week. I don't do Mondays anymore, which is fantastic.
Nice.
And I'd say for probably 3 of those days, I'd usually be working from home. So I've got a sort of the attic set up as an office that I use here. And that is one of the really good things about Salesforce, and what I was hoping is, because it's cloud-based and because it's so accessible remotely, it really does help with that flexibility. The other day, typically I would be on site with one of our customers. So sitting down in a workshop with them and working out what they need from a project, doing training, showing people how to use the system. Yeah, those would probably be the main kind of contact points with different charities. But even when I'm at home, there's quite a lot of contact with different people. So actually today, I think I've got 15 minutes in the whole day when I'm not on a call or a webinar or doing some training with people. So it can be pretty demanding, even while working from home. So you're certainly busy all the time. And yeah, so over the course of a week, I'd say that's a typical split for me, is 3 days at home and 1 day out on site with a client. A good mix of training activity, a lot of build work, and a lot of project management. So those probably are the kind of three areas of skills as a consultant that you need to think about. One is the kind of the technical side, and particularly, if you're going to be working with particular types of audiences or products, like marketing cloud for marketing activity, or non-profit for those charities that are using non-profit cloud, making sure you've got those technical skills. Project management, I love Agile. I kind of wish that I discovered Agile project management 10-20 years ago, instead of having to kind of feel like a square peg in a round hole of using that traditional waterfall management. And then kind of softer communication skills of being able to sit down with a group of users, or senior people within an organization, and translate what they need into a kind of a design for a system.
Yeah, I think that's one of the bit people can really underestimate about being a consultant, because yes, it's learning all the technical side, but you can't put that into place unless you've communicated well about what people need, right? So have you come across any particular, like, what's been one of the biggest challenges of your consultancy role so far?
So I think the thing that is definitely worth kind of gaining some skills in, or practicing, or that I think it didn't come naturally, is some of the requirement gathering. So that is just the process of translating what people do currently, how they want to do things differently in the future, and what they want the system to do, into a system design. And I think to start with, I was moving too quickly to the, oh yeah, that will be a formula field, or oh yeah, we can do this in this sort of technical way. And actually, there's a real benefit to slowing down and properly teasing out what people want the system to do and why, or how they work. So I don't know, a charity receiving donations and taking membership payments, there's some really obvious leaps that you can make to say, oh, well, this is a pick list field, or this is this sort of technical solution. But actually, quite often, if you slow down and just get people to talk through and explain what they need the system to do and why and how they currently use it, lots of better solutions will emerge. And so that's quite a bit of an art, I think, and one that I'm constantly practicing. So that's a good area to develop if you're looking to get into consultancy.
Yeah, I think it's always good to try and put yourself back in that position of not knowing Salesforce, isn't it? That's what I always think about. When I was on the other end, having it implemented in our organisation, when I didn't really understand what it could do, you need to put yourself back in that position almost, don't you? Because people don't necessarily know what they're asking of you.
Yeah, and I think that's the hallmark of a good consultant as well, is someone who draws out not only the things that you know that you need the system to do, but the things that are really going to benefit you as an organisation and make life easier for people. So I think that is a reason to find a consultant who is going to kind of work well with you, but also has experience of the sort of activity that you're doing.
Yeah. Great, thank you. And what kind of, we talked about that being the most challenging part of the role. What's kind of one of the favourite aspects of the role, and maybe perhaps something also that was a bit unexpected, if there was anything about what's so great about it?
So I guess two things that are favourite. One is the flexibility. So when I made that sort of leap and I was thinking about changing career, I was probably travelling more days than I was at home. I was missing out on a lot of time with my son and my family, and that feels like it's completely turned on its head now. So yeah, my days are pretty busy, and I don't have a lot of spare time, but I can be home for breakfasts and dinners, and that's exactly what I wanted. So that's been really great. And then the second thing that's a favourite is when you actually deliver the finished kind of system to someone, and it really makes a difference. So, the first time that one of the charities I worked with could see really easily their kind of membership information in one place over the year ahead, or the fact that Grantmaker can kind of make it easier for people to apply for money, all of those sorts of things where people genuinely appreciate the difference that the system's made. That's really nice. Good.
And so I just want to take a couple more minutes just to talk about this working and studying. So lots of people at the beginning of their Salesforce journey here really keen to learn, and possibly going to have to be combining that with working as well. And we've talked about that continual learning journey being a really important part of Salesforce. I guess, do you have any advice or tips, top tips for people studying and trying to really keep that up while you're also working as well? If you found it challenging, and any tips and advice you can give around that?
So I would say, if you're going for interviews and when you're talking to potential employers, a really good question is to be asking about support for further training and development, and that shows that you're interested in that, but it's also kind of helps you get a feel for how are they going to support you, both in terms of time and potentially resource to do that further training. So that's one thing to look out for. I actually find that I'm choosing to spend some of my time out of hours still learning more, because Salesforce is a bit like the Wizard of Oz thing, where you kind of get a little peek behind the curtain. So as soon as you've done your admin exam, you start to see, oh, okay, but I can see how this works to some level, but oh, right, okay, so what's this? Oh, right, so you go from I guess typical is from workflows to then process builder to then flow to then you're like, okay, but flow is just a way of doing Apex. Oh, Apex coding is really powerful. Let me learn about this. So it's a bit seductive. So I find that I'm constantly trying to figure out what the next level below what I'm trying to do is, and when you find those more powerful tools, it really helps with your work as well.
So just to wrap up then, what's next for you? What's next for you in your career?
So I have actually just signed up to do the Supermums Platform Developer 1 course. So that is going to be the next big chunk of work for me, and that feels like a pretty sizable piece of learning to do. So that's kind of Apex code, Visual Force, probably some elements of the new Lightning Flow kind of component builder and framework. Yeah, so that's me, and I also need to try and squeeze in Service Cloud certification at some point.
Great. Well, Sounds like you're going to be really busy, and thanks for taking time out in amongst all your calls today to fit in one with us. Good luck with PB1 training. Hopefully I'll hear all about it, and perhaps we can get you back when you've passed to tell us about your experience of that. Just left to say to everyone who joined us on the call, thanks for joining us, and if you're watching some other time, thanks for spending some time with us. We have got our admin, our consultancy, and indeed our PB1 course open for application. So if you want to know more, you can drop me a line, abigail@supermums.org, or download all the information on our website as well. I know a few of you already signed up, so I look forward to speaking to you and hearing more of your success. So we'll end it there. Thanks, David.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye all.
Bye.